So the MLB is going with regions to limit travel in the 2020 season. So in today's video, I'm going to be ranking MLB regions for the 2020 MLB season. So if you like this kind of content, drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you will get notified whenever I upload a video. Link to the other channels in the description below this video. Subscribe to those as well. Yeah. So if you are an East team, you are going to be playing AL or NL East teams all 60 games. If you're a Central team, same thing. West, same thing. So in today's video, I'm going to rank MLB regions for the 2020 MLB season. I have done a few minor league videos. Yesterday's video was my opinion on every 2020 Cooper Delgado version hat. And we did the Jorge Mateo trade. I covered that. I did farm system rankings. And I did my way to early 2021 MLB mock draft, which kind of does impact the minor leagues. But after all that, let's get into this video. So I'm going to start off with the East, and I think this could definitely be pretty tough, but you're also going to see some easy teams. Like the Orioles, they're probably going to be the worst team in baseball. It's them or the Tigers, in my opinion. They're going to be without Trey Mancini, but the Orioles will have some interesting things about them that people will want to watch. John Means is a big one for me because I think that he could definitely be dealt off at the trade deadline. So, what season he has, and it's going to be a weird trade deadline. Now, Francisco Lindor could be traded, and it could be a really good trade deadline. Who knows? But with the Orioles, they're going to be pretty bad. Chris Davis might come back, but he was really terrible last year. And they're going to have Pedro Severino, which I would like to see his development more. I'd also like to see them call up some prospects. Why not Adley Rutschman? Why not put him at the catcher position? Why not call up your first round pick from last year? A lot of people are putting their first round picks from last year on their taxi squad, and I think that that'd be a good idea for Heston Kjerstad. I think it was a bad pick, but we can see in a 60-game season how bad of a pick that was, or how good of a pick that was, and how the Orioles were thinking. So, but overall, I think the Orioles are the worst team out of these. Probably your second worst team, I'm going to go to the NL East with the Miami Marlins. Now, the Marlins made key pickups in the offseason, bringing in Jonathan Villar, who was really good for the Orioles last year. He was a super underrated player last year. They also brought in Jesus Aguilar, which if he can, I think he's kind of a Justin Bour type of player. Like he could be a Justin Bour type of player for the Marlins. Because Justin Bour was very good there for a few years until he went to the Angels, and then he's now in Japan, I think, playing baseball. But I don't see a great season from the Marlins. I do want to see what Max Meyer does if he ever gets called up from the taxi squad. And Sandy Alcantara should have a breakout season, in my opinion. And Brian Anderson, do they trade him? They've traded everybody else. So, big questions. The eighth best, or the eighth worst team, I guess I should say, I'm going to go with the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, the Blue Jays did have some key pickups to boost their starting pitching. Hyun-Jin Ryu, who was a top pitcher in baseball last year. Now, they were rumored to get Dallas Keuchel, didn't happen. But they also have a top prospect coming up, Anthony Alford as well, who has been a really good prospect for years. They still have Bo Bichette. We will get to see what Vladimir Guerrero Jr. really is in 2020 because he didn't play for all of 2019. Bo Bichette was really good in 2019. And Blue Jays could be exciting to watch, even though they may not have a great team. So, our seventh team right here, Red Sox. The Red Sox are not a team that I'm thinking are going to have a great season in 2020. I think as of right now, I would put them at third place in the AL East. And that's just because they lost Mookie Betts. Chris Sale's going to be out for 2020, which Chris Sale wasn't that good in 2019. Eduardo Rodriguez is a player that I definitely think could break out. If you do want to see like 10 breakout players for the 2020 MLB season, me to do that video, drop a like on this one. But I mean, I think that the Red Sox are going to be decent, just not good enough to be second, because I do think this is a good division at the top. So our next team, I'm going to go with the New York Mets. Now, the New York Mets would just barely miss the playoffs in this, but we're going to go with the Phillies. We're going to go with the Phillies. I don't know why I said Mets. Phillies. My big concern with the Phillies is their relief pitching. Their relief pitching has not been good. It's been notorious to be bad and hold them back. Now, injuries was a big problem for them in 2019. Their starting pitching also concerns me a little bit. Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler at the top. But after that, I see concerns, and that's my big problem with the Philadelphia Phillies. And they miss out on the playoffs. And they are the number 6 team. The number 5 team, I'm going to go with the New York Mets. And the playoffs are as regular. But the New York Mets are going to not have Noah Syndergaard, but they still have good pitching besides that with Marcus Stroman, Steven Matz, Rick Porcello, Michael Wacha, and obviously the 2-time Cy Young winner, Jacob deGrom. Coming in at number 4 is going to be the Washington Nationals, the 2019 World Series champions. Now, I think the Nationals are going to be very good in 2020. They did lose Anthony Rendon, but if Carter Kieboom lives up to his hype, then that won't be a problem. And the next team I have at number 3 is going to be the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, the Rays are one of the teams that are definitely going to succeed in a 60-game season. And I think they're a team that in the future, little bold prediction here, will win the World Series. They have good starting pitching. The Tommy Pham for Hunter Renfroe trade, unless they just saw something that us fans didn't see, I don't like it. Manuel Margot for Emilio Pagan, your best reliever, don't like that either. So they had some bad trades. And I've saw some articles that are bold predictions that the Rays will win the AL East. And I do have the Rays hat on. And I really like the Rays team. I don't think they can beat the Yankees. Now here at number 2, I'm sure you guys are probably thinking, well, he's big biased. No. Number 2 is the New York Yankees. And I will explain to you why in depth. So why the New York Yankees are number 2? One, their starting pitching is they have Garrett Cole, and people are acting like he's going to start all 5 days and he's going to be great. I can't argue with that. But my thing is, after that, who do you expect to be good? You're going to have James Paxton, who is always decent. Luis Severino, who knows how he'll be. He was in the bullpen a little bit. So big concerns with their rotation. Now, their relief pitching is good as well. And their hitting is, they have some of the best hitting in baseball. DJ LeMahieu, Gary Sanchez, Luke Ford could even break out. Gio Urshela had a really good 2019 season. I don't think he's going to be that good in 2020. Next, we go with the Atlanta Braves. And the Braves are number 1 because, one, their relief pitching, and I think their starting pitching is better than the Yankees. And the reason I think their starting pitching is better than the Yankees is because I think it is more well-rounded. Mike Soroka, Max Fried, Felix Hernandez has opted out of the 2020 season, so he will not be pitching. You also have, after that, you have some young rookies that could come up. Ian Anderson, a good right-handed pitcher. You have a lot of good players. And maybe you argue, but I think the Braves are the best. So I think that region's pretty tough. we will rank it at the end, so watch till the end of the video. The Central is going to be easy and tough at the same time, if that makes any sense. Because it relies on a lot if teams like the Brewers or Cubs have a down season or a good season. So, our 10th team for them is going to be the Tigers. I'm not going to explain that much because there's not much to explain. Number 9, Royals. We're going to go with number 9, Pirates. Pirates lost Starling Marte, who I think was their best player. They also failed in the Chris Archer trade miserably. Tyler Glasnow and Austin Meadows for Chris Archer. Bad trade. The Pirates are going to be bad. 8th, the Royals. They have Whit Merrifield, Jorge Soler, Hunter Dozier, and lots of other key pieces like Alberto Mondesi. They have a good team and a good team for the future. I mean, they're not as bad as people think. Next, at number 7, we're going to go with the Brewers. I think the Brewers are bound for a down season, and that's a bold prediction. Brewers have absolutely no starting pitching except Brandon Woodruff, who was decent. And Josh Hader is really, really good. Probably the best reliever in the game, in my opinion. He cannot, as a closer, lead a relief pitching. And just pitching in general. Brewers right there at number 7. Number 6, I'm going to go with the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs, the relief pitching is my main concern with this team. Now, they do have John Lester, Kyle Hendricks, and Yu Darvish, and a lot of other players. Just not good enough. Number 5, Indians. I think the Indians can be very good, or they could be really bad. It's interesting. They could be good, or they could be bad. Now, I have seen some bold predictions that Mike Clevenger for AL MVP. I think Mike Clevenger is really good. I think Shane Bieber, he's going to have a really good season. I think you could see a 10-win season out of him, just because it's a shortened season. Next, we're going to go with the St. Louis Cardinals at number 4. Cardinals have a very good team, but I feel like the Marcell Ozuna loss is the big thing holding them back. Number 3, I'm going to go with is the White Sox. White Sox at number 3. White Sox made some key acquisitions, but just not good enough. So number 2 is going to be the Twins. Now, I'm going to call them way too early 2020 MLB season predictions because they were like a month or 2 ago. And I think they kind of were way too early. Not really much has changed though. That's the thing. But I have different predictions now, which are going to be coming soon. Drop a like on this video. Might drop those this week. But they just don't have the starting pitching. Now, they do have Jake Odorizzi and Jose Barrios at the top, but besides that, Kenta Maeda, he's average. Rich Hill, you can't predict with him. Their relief pitching is another big concern. Now, number 1 is going to be the Cincinnati Reds, and the Reds are a team that I think are going to be very good. Now, a few years ago when they had the Brandon Phillips, Todd Frazier, Billy Hamilton, those days, Joey Votto was MVP type, and Johnny Cueto even. I thought the Reds were just in the wrong division because the Cardinals were winning every year. And the Reds could be in the wrong division, but I just don't see the Cardinals being better than the Reds. I think the Reds are the best team. Now we move on to the West, where the worst team in the West is going to go to the Seattle Mariners. Now the Mariners are going to have Emerson Hancock on their 60-man taxi squad or whatever, which is going to be fun to watch for fans. But, man, this the Mariners, they're bad. Daniel Vogelback's good, but not good enough. So the ninth worst team is going to go to the Giants. Giants, for the last couple of years, have been bad. And I really like the Giants roster. Now, they lost Madison Bumgarner, which was probably who I would go with as my favorite person on their team. And there has been rumors that Buster Posey is going to sit out, which you guys may be like, what the heck? But I actually hope Buster Posey sits out because I want to see Joe Bart come up. And maybe even a Seth Corey comes up, who was with Augusta in 2019 and was really good. I would like to see some of their young players come up and see how they are going to be, because I think they're going to be really good. That's just my opinion, though. Number 8, I'm going to go with the Colorado Rockies. Now, the Rockies could totally prove me wrong and make me look like a doofus. If they do, they do. But here's the thing. The Rockies have no pitching. Wade Davis was supposed to be a big move. I thought that it was going to be a big move too. No. He's been bad. And Kyle Freeland could come out and be one of the best pitchers in baseball. I'm predicting he won't, but he could. The next one is going to be the Texas Rangers. Now, the Rangers actually have some really good starting pitching. It's just their relief pitching is the problem. Their hitting's decent. Not great, but not bad, if that makes any sense. So, their starting pitching can lead them. And maybe a third or second place, which would be a big improvement. I don't see it, though. They have Lance Lynn, Corey Kluber, Mike Minor, all those players in their starting rotation. Next one I'm going to go with is the Oakland A's. I think the A's are kind of in for a down season, in a 60-game season. And I just don't know. I just feel it. Next one is going to be the Padres. Padres have little to no starting pitching. They have Chris Paddock. That's it. And number 3 is going to be another team that has no starting pitching. And that's going to be the Angels. The Angels, they're good, but they have no starting pitching like the teams ahead of them. And that's the big problem. They have better starting pitching than the Padres, but not good enough starting pitching. They have Andrew Heaney, Shohei Ohtani, Dylan Bundy, Julio Teheran, who's always going to be an average pitcher. Next one is going to be the D-backs, the Diamondbacks. I think they're going to have a really, really good season. They are one of the teams that I think could break out. With a rotation of Madison Bumgarner, Zach Gallen, who else? Luke Weaver, Robbie Ray, Robbie Ray, Mike Leake is going to sit out, so no him. But they're going to have a good team. And our next team is going to be the Trash Can Bangers, and I don't have a trash can to bang on or anything like that, so I guess that's about the best I can do. But the Astros, they're still going to be good. Now, I do have a little bit of concerns with their starting pitching, and that's going to be a big concern for me. But if you look at it, they still have better starting pitching than the Padres, than the Angels, than the A's, than the Mariners. They still have better starting pitching than some of these other teams. Rockies, Giants. And that's what's going to lead them, or that's what's going to slow them down. And coming in, unsurprisingly, at first is going to be the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers acquired Mookie Betts, and they have two top 5 players in their outfield, Mookie Betts and Cody Bellinger. That's dangerous. and they could easily win the World Series, and I don't see it right now. The relief pitching is what really is the big factor for me that I'm not seeing. Kenley Jansen, he's good, but he is another one of those players that is very unpredictable. And their starting pitching is going to be good. Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, even without Hyun-Jin Ryu, which could be a big loss. And their hitting's always going to be good. The thing that could have made the Angels so much higher was a Ross Stripling and Jock Peterson trade. That fell through. And Ross Stripling could be a good pitcher for the Angels. I mean, a number 2, I'm saying. And Jock Peterson hit like 20 home runs. I mean, 25 or more, I think. Last year. How? For a Luis Rengifo, which the Dodgers, they're really good with their player development. They could have made Luis Rengifo to a superstar. But at the time, no way I'm declining that trade. No way. And Dodgers are number 1. They have Max Muncy, Jock Peterson, Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts in the outfield. Best outfield in baseball. It's simple. And they're starting rotations above average. And they're relief pitching. That's my big problem. If they had players like Brandon Morrow still there, they would be a lot better. And even a player like a Craig Kimbrell last year could have really boosted them. And a player that I would have liked to see on the Dodgers. And their starting pitching is really good. They're going to have some key players coming up. Now, Dustin May could succeed in the bullpen. Do I see it? No. But he could succeed in that bullpen. And he's a top prospect. Gavin Lux is also coming up. He's favorite for NL Rookie of the Year. There could be some others in mind, like a Joey Bart, or a Mackenzie Gore for the Padres, super underrated. Alex Bohm, Spencer Howard for the Phillies. For the Braves, Drew Waters, Christian Pache, Ian Anderson. Lots of good players. So Dodgers number 1. So now let's kind of get into the rankings for the MLB regions. So the East is definitely pretty tough. I think they're the second toughest. The second toughest. They have the Braves, Nationals, Yankees, Rays. Those are the 4 best teams in that division. But you do have teams like the Mets, the Phillies, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, who are going to be competitive. The Marlins and the Orioles are really going to be the only easy wins. And for a team like the Blue Jays or the Red Sox, the Marlins might even not be a easy win for them. So you're going to have, I would say, 8 competitive teams. Really tough, but not the toughest. Because all 4 teams in the East are going to be competing in the NL. The AL, I think 4 teams as well. East is going to be tough. Central, I think this is probably the easiest one. Now you do have, in my opinion, I'm going to go with 3 good teams for next year. 3 really good teams for next year. Reds, White Sox, and Twins. You've got a lot of easy wins, in my opinion. You've got the Royals that you're going to have to play. The Tigers that you're going to have to play. The Pirates that you're going to have to play. They're not going to be technically pushovers, but they're definitely not going to be great. It's going to be tough in any of these regions, don't get me wrong. But I think when you have teams like the Pirates, the Brewers, Cubs, which all could have down seasons, I think this could really be the weakest, especially even more if the Brewers and Cubs have down seasons, and maybe even the Indians have a down season as well. Toughest one I'm going with is going to be the West. And that's simply because pretty much most teams, you've got 8 teams. Well, no, you've got 9 teams competing, which is one more than the NL East or the East. That's why I put the West as being tougher. But the Rangers, they're going to be competitive. Astros, A's, Angels, the Diamondbacks, super underrated team for next year. Dodgers, Padres, Rockies are even going to be competing. Now, are they going to be good? Another story for next. That's another story. The Giants, they could surprise some people. I don't see it, though. The Rangers could be a big surprise team in the AL. I don't see it, but they could be. But that's going to be the end of this video. If you made it to the end, you had to like something, so drop a like. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you will get notified whenever I upload a video. Link to the other channels in the description below. Make sure to subscribe to those as well. Link to yesterday's video in the description as well. That's going to be the end of this video. Check out some of my latest videos on my uploads playlist. A link to that is also in the description below. So make sure to check the description. Like this video. You made it to the end. You had to like something. So go ahead and drop a like. I think that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you for watching. And I'll be back with more videos tomorrow. I think. Hopefully. So more videos most likely tomorrow. And before I do wrap this video up, I would like to say that I am going to be uploading more on this channel and my other channels as well. And I am going to be trying to upload or attempting. And I think I'll be successful most days. But for right now, and if I have another announcement about this, I will say in a future video. But for right now, the day you're seeing this is going to be Monday. So, no weekend uploads. I think I'm going to no weekend uploads. And I'm going to go Monday through Friday. I don't really have a drop time. It's just kind of whenever. If that makes any sense. They may be late, they may be early. It's just kind of whenever. Whenever I feel like uploading or whenever I feel like making a video. That's kind of it. So no specific drop time, but Monday through Friday. And if I don't drop a video, I probably have a reason for it. That's going to be the end of this video. Subscribe to the channel for more minor league and major league content. I wanted to do a major league video today. I figured why not, just because I have been focusing a little bit on minor league videos. Maybe they don't seem like minor league videos, and the last two videos kind of haven't. But they do have an impact on the minor leagues, and I feel like they kind of connect to the minor leagues and the major leagues as well. So I think that this is a long video. But that's going to be the end of this video. If you like this kind of content, drop a like. If you made it to the end, you're definitely one of... You definitely like the content that I put out. That's all I'm saying. That's going to be the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with more videos very, very soon.